All right, let's see. Hey, Brett, how are you? Um, 4 pills at once? Nightmare, you'd think they could just do less binders or something. Like, ah. So, in case anybody missed it, the first signs of fall have appeared. Our wishing tree is an early warning system. It'll drop the first. Like, a lot of the leaves on that wishing tree will hold out until the end of fall, really. But it also always drops the first couple before anything else drops. And, like, I suppose I've seen acorns dropping already. But here we'll be in the black walnut season, and I'll be out in a neighbor's backyard with a bucket. But never you mind that. You secured your bread. Good for you. Correct, though. Literally just, Nymera, literally just because they're the first signs of fall. So I brought them in because this space here works for, like, I want to say works for my altar. Right. Like, it's certainly not the only altar space that I've got. But I'll throw the seasonal stuff on here as it shows up for me. Right. And Gabrielle, that's alright. You're allowed to lurk every now and again. Now that said, I did have quite a few people pop into stream. Sorry, pop into the queue, so I might as well go ahead and get started. Oh yeah, no, I like it when somebody engages, but none of y'all should feel obligated. Starry, I'm pretty sure you're first. You almost have to be first because you were right in here. Yep, no worries. No tea? You know, all things considered, Brett, you not having any tea is probably good for you. Okay, well, now's as good a time as any for me. So what you got for me? I can kind of hazard some guesses, but as it should be, as it should be. Fair though. Okay, well let's start with one. Just because we got a lot of people, let's kind of, unless they're super connected, let's start with one. And we'll rotate you around again for the second. Just because I got quite a few people yet tonight. Also, bear with. So what you got for me? There we go. So, this is the question I was for sure expecting, right? Because I saw some hints of this. I agree with what translating. I agree with what Gabriella said in the Discord about, you know, joking it out joking about it is, here, hold on. Rogue, you should have the ability, I think, or here, let me do it. I'm here now. Give me a second and I'll put a marker in my stream for this. Okay, I put a marker in here so it's easy to find. Just in case we lose you, sorry. I think a lot of this is, you know, joking about longer term things is a way of, like Gabriella said, taking a temperature. Right. Feeling out where you're at. Now let's hit it with the cards to be sure. Okay, so the Ten of Hearts as the first card is, look, this has gone to the next level in his head. Right. I'm not, and I think so far, like, I want to stick with that. Yeah, obviously he's into you. We kind of knew that. Yeah, I think what's going on here is he needs to know where you stand or he can't go forward. Right. Without your card here, and oh yeah. Okay, so you read cards with me, right? And you've read some playing cards, and I can translate them to tarot if you want. Right. Basically, you just take your hearts, turn them into cups. Take your spades, turn them into swords, right? Like, you know how to do this. So, what we have here is we have our Ten of Hearts, you know, emotions taken to the next level. King of Hearts, you know, guy's kind of wearing his heart on his sleeve here. This, I think, does indicate that his jokes are more serious than he'd like to pretend. Right. Hey, Nikisha, how are you? Then we have the Six of Spades. Six of Spades is a closed road. It's something I think he might like to travel down, but he can't. Right. And that's the thing, is he can't go down this road without being sure. So he's going to feel it out. Right. If he gets some of this feedback, we have a Nine of Hearts. Nine of Hearts is new emotional territory. Right. We have an Ace of Clubs. He is likely to not initiate any more than moderate petting. Right. He's likely to not sleep with you tonight. Or not tonight. When he comes to visit. Unless he gets some feedback here. Right. Like, he wants to know you're in it. Or he wants to know you're not in it and it's just going to be casual. Right. And the way he's trying to find this out is by poking at the jokes a little bit. How you respond to that gives him his signs, one way or the other. The biggest kind of warning that I have for you. So this tells me he's interested in this. Nymira, our heat broke today. It's been cool and pleasant all day today. Like, it got a little warm, but not like it has been. It's been pleasant all day today. It's been lovely. He's definitely into this. He's feeling it out. How you respond to that will give him his green flag, red flag, what have you. Right. This will tell him how to proceed. And the last card that I have here, this Queen of Clubs, tells me, look, for you, This is going to be work. Sending him the signals you really should be sending him is going to be just a little bit outside of his comfort zone. Or, sorry, outside of your comfort zone. Right, you're uncomfortable with displaying this kind of stuff. Right, and I know that about you. I don't need a card to know that. Right, but this is an indicator. You're going to have to go just a little bit outside of your comfort zone here. Right, I think you need to match this joking energy with something. No, I think Naimira is correct that at some point you can have a conversation with him about, look, I'd rather we just put it all out there. No, absolutely they are. Right, and I noticed a theme with your dream from earlier too, of being a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, that's weird. It says it's got it. It says it's got you in there, Nikisha. If not, I got you anyway. I got you marked. Um. So in any case, yeah. Um. Yep, you're in there. Good. Um. In any case, so that's this weekend, right? He's coming this weekend, correct? I know, right? Like he's coming up for the holiday tomorrow, right? Or am I mixing your thing up with somebody else's? Because I do that sometimes. Okay, good, good, good. So for you, I think a lot of things become more clear when you guys get to spend some time together outside of the work environment. Right, because everything else has been tainted with too much work. So now this is our first real work is not a factor. And I think it'll clarify a lot of things. Fair? All right. Well, I hate to do it quite so quick, but I got to keep moving if I'm going to get through everyone. And Starry, I know you said you had 2 questions. If you want to join the queue again, I'm absolutely fine with that. Um, no issues there, and I can read for you at the other end of things. Okay, good, good. And again, I don't mind the other one. So, Brat, just a general. All right. Let's see here. So, no tea tonight. You cannot bring tea every night. If you brought tea every night, your life would be entirely too busy, Brat. Okay, let's see here. Hmm. That is okay, so that is interesting. Notice what we have here. So I draw 6 cards, and in those 6 cards, statistically, you won't see the same number twice, right? And we have 2 5s, and we have 3 7s. So let's actually do these out of order. Let's settle our outlier first, our King of Clubs, right? As much as Right, as much as we don't, and you know, statistically it's bound to happen every once in a while, but that doesn't mean it's not relevant. Right, so this is about two things. This is about obligations and this is about thought patterns. Right, because that's what the fives and the sevens mean. Um, we're going to read this entire reading upside down. Right, we're going to work from our last card, our results or advice card, and we're going to work backwards into the past. Right. So, first then in the reading, we've got this seven of spades. Seven of spades is a card that I use for things like mental illness, cards that I use for things like worry and stress. Right. So, at the end of this, and I think it's important actually to capture this seven of hearts, seven of diamonds with this. Seven of hearts is like open emotion. Seven of diamonds is the wish card. It's about something that's idealized. Right, so this open emotion, this idealized wish, leads to what I think for me, it, like mental illness is vague. I think it's obsession in this point. Right. The cards aren't going to let you get away with what you've been doing. Part of focusing on yourself, and I gotta be fair, like I will acknowledge I know a lot about Brat's situation. Right. So I am backfilling extra information. But the cards are not going to let you get away with, okay, I'm focusing on me right now, so I don't have to deal with any of this. Right. We've all watched this cycle. Right, and all of us in chat have watched you go through this cycle. You're focusing on yourself, then something will happen, then you're caught up in the drama again. Right? And at this point, I think we hit it exactly on the head. Right now, you're focused on yourself and you're ignoring that. And I don't think we can ignore kind of your main situation right now. You need to have a plan. What is your responsibility? What is not your responsibility? And how do you keep this? No, so Brat, that's the thing. I think you really do want to try. The question is, how do you break yourself out of a cycle? Right. When it comes down to it, like I have a controversial opinion that emotions and thoughts are largely controlled by biochemistry. Right. Which means, here's a controversial part of my opinion. That's scientific fact. Here's a controversial part of my opinion. I believe you can become addicted to a situation. You can become addicted to a pattern. Right, and since I've been treating some of the patterns in my life as addictions, right, as I've been treating some of the patterns in my lives as addictions, I've been able to break some patterns that I've had for years. And I can still struggle with others. Right, and I'll freely admit to struggling with others, but the pack of cigarettes in my pocket says I do. Pack of cigarettes in my pocket, a can of caffeine in my hand says I don't have a 100% track record of breaking addictions anyway. Right. Correct. So, let's find you, methadone for your situation. You see where I'm going with this? We need something else that's going to be thrilling in the same way that doesn't create that same kind of drama. Right? So, we're a pretty no drama group around here. I mean, Nymeria, that would work, but so much of Brat's situation was electronic. I'd actually like to see her find a high drama group to participate in, where it's high drama and low stakes. Does that make sense? Like, I'd like to see you find an online area that's got a lot of drama that doesn't fucking matter. I used to play Magic the Gathering years ago. Right, I haven't picked up a deck in forever, but something happened across my TikTok feed and I stopped. Right, and because I stopped, now it's feeding me Magic the Gathering TikTok stuff. Oh, I know it is. I know it is, and Commander, or EDH, what they're calling Commander now, has taken over. And I always hated the Commander format, but never mind that. Right, but this is what I'm talking about. It's high drama. You know, something like arguments over fucking, nuances of Magic crap. It's high drama and low stakes. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But it is, oh my god, high drama. You know how it is. I can give you my controversial when they brought D&D stuff directly into it. Was when they lost me completely. Like, I hadn't played for years before that. But I always thought, at some point I may throw money at a deck again and go play again. They brought Forgotten Realms D&D stuff into it, and I'm like, nah, I'm over it. Those two things should be separate. They're separate fucking worlds. And I worried when Wizards bought D&D. But anyway, that's the kind of drama that I'm talking about. Like, we can go around forever about that kind of stuff, right? Brat, do you play? Right, exactly. Find yourself fucking fun drama. Oh my god, video games are full of this kind of drama. Video games are full of this kind of drama. You want to stir up drama, pop into an RPG like subreddit or stream or something and go, so does anybody know if we're ever going to get an Elder Scrolls 6? Oh no, you can't call it an Elder Scrolls 6. It tips off too much. You know too much. Does anybody know if we're ever going to get a Skyrim 2? You got to call it Skyrim 2 though. Otherwise you tip it off. They know you're trolling and they won't be able to help themselves. You know what I mean? Even if they know you're trolling, they won't be able to help themselves. Everybody will have a freaking comment. My comment is, of course, well, whenever we get it, it'll be broken anyway. You remember what happened with Fallout. But never you mind that. Right now, the hot drama in video games is Borderlands 4. Or, well, right now the hot drama is how badly the Borderlands movie flopped. But never you mind that. But yeah, This kind of drama, I didn't even bother. I heard it was bad before I ever had money to go see it, so I didn't even bother. Right. Um, but this kind of drama acts as your replacement drug. Does that make sense? Because you'll trigger some of the same emotions. You'll get the same biochemical feedback without the actual negative energy. You know, it's why I love, you know, gaming, you know, tabletop gaming, and don't get me wrong, it's still its own kind of drug. Ask a tabletop gamer about the last time a group exploded. You know, ask a tabletop gamer about the last gaming group they sat and played with that died a bad death, and you'll hear all about the ways this drama can go badly. Right, but it's generally safer than the drama you've been in. So that's the stuff my cards kind of want to see you replace. Right, and now is the time to work for this. Consider it part of working for yourself, making those new, healthier-ish connections. Like, don't get me wrong, it's healthier in the same way that this caffeine right here is healthier than cocaine. You know what I mean? It's still a stimulant. It's still not necessarily great for me, but my heart isn't going to explode. And so that's what I got for you. Does that help? Unless they put cocaine back into cola. Well, I mean, you gotta, you know, there are some countries where they do that, but you gotta put it in yourself. But never you mind that. Alright, well, I'm gonna stay focused and keep moving then, because again, I got a lot of people. How you doing, Impact? Yeah, no worries. That's a tomato. That's a heck of a phrase. Right. Like, I'm not necessarily opposed to this reading. I just want to point out wholeness in your heart is a heck of a phrase. You know, because presumably on the surface I'm doing some level of reading about relationships, but really that's not the question. Right. And we can talk peace and contentment, but that's not really the question either. Right? The question is about having something that you feel is missing patched or replaced. So I just want to be clear. I want to be clear with the kind of nature of the question. Right. Now, as far as that goes, like the first thing that I see, Nine of Diamonds. I think that, correct, yeah, there's a Nine of Diamonds here. So Nine of Diamonds does indicate, like, new territories. Now, I am reaching back to the last readings we've done. I am going to say the Nine of Diamonds tends to indicate, you know, nines are not usually X's. Nines are not usually things you've seen before. Right. Um, but your question defined, you know, the 9 is about striking off in a new area. We call it the wilderness, and the image in my head is hacking at a jungle with a machete. Right, and in that, with that imagery, your 9 of diamonds is like an abandoned temple in the wilderness. Right, it's a place of value of power. Right, so you do find something exciting and new in October. There is a Queen of Diamonds, so when you ask that question, is there a romantic component or tinge to this? And, of course, the follow-up question being, so you're romantically interested in women, correct? Um, because if the answer to both of those is correct, yeah, if the answer to both of those is yes, then this could indicate new romance. But here's the interesting part. That 8 of clubs indicates just a blossoming of social opportunities, and you defined October. So in October, it's just this huge blossoming of social opportunities in general in October. Some of which may provide some romantic components. However, this is the Queen of Diamonds, not the Queen of Hearts. So with the 8 of Diamonds being the kind of last card in this reading, I read October for you as some fun, a lot of social opportunities, some hints at romance or kind of casual things, but nothing that really sticks around, but nothing you're horribly upset by when it ends, if that makes sense. It was all in good fun. So is it some sort of long-term relationship? No. But do I think you're really going to care? No, I think you'll be having a good time. So the 8s are wider social networks. Right. So the 8 of clubs are something like coworkers. The 8 of diamonds is something like networking. Right. And I have a somewhat idiosyncratic way of reading. When it comes down to it, there is a reason that every playing card reader that makes it remotely big publishes their own book. And if you really look at them, they're all different. That's because the playing cards, more than most, encourage you to make your own connections with them. I think it's because they lack images. So my 8 of diamonds as networking, and whoever's 8 of diamonds as nurturing something. When we look at the context, it's funny because you'll arrive at the same physical result, even if the language that's used to get there is different. But yeah, overall, I think this looks good. Overall, I see this large explosion in your social activity in October. I would say it is something you want to cultivate or grow when you see the seeds of it start to show up. Right. Yep. All right, let's see here. All right. So, Starry, I will point out that you never did join in for the second reading. So if you do want a second reading, you're welcome to it. Just get in there. But we can look at that in a little bit. So, Nymera, I already kind of know, but I gotta follow the rules. So, what are we reading on today? And as a follow-up, because I already know, have you heard from... So you did hear back? Good. I figured you would. How would you figure the tone of that was? I mean, I'll get the cards going, but how would you figure the tone of that was? Was it relatively, like, engaged, or was he pretty distant? Ooh. Ouch. All right. Yeah. Like I said earlier, like, that is a wonderful sign. Um, okay. So, yes. So, to answer the question directly, yes, I would definitely do another candle. I would actually probably consider two. Set a more solid version of the thing you did on the spur of the moment, right? Really think it through, meditate with it, get it ready to go, and do that pretty much whenever. And then round about Wednesday, Thursday maybe, um, you're gonna do kind of a more road openery communication-y candle. You know, to try and get some of that service project time to be not quite completely phone free, right? So that you can maintain some communication. Um, the so the short answer here, as far as the cards go, is we can try and address some of it with spell work. But look at that. Look at this cluster of cards right here. Right, we've got a 5 of diamonds, uh, 2 of hearts, which is lovely for you, but then this 5 of spades. Right, he's trying to live up to the responsibilities that he has here, doing what he's doing with you, because you guys have not um, you guys have yet to really define, correct? But he digs you. He's trying to live up to these responsibilities. And between the last few things that have happened and the fact that, like, you're uncomfortable with this, it's a point of extra sensitivity for you when your guys travel. Right? It is. So I'm going to tell you, he's going to drop the ball as far as you will feel some anxiety. It will bother you. But he's doing everything he can do to line it up. So I'm less worried about candles to force communication, and I'm more worried about things that open the way or make it easier for him to do what he was going to do anyway. Does that make sense? So at this point, focus on opening doorways for him, opening roads for him to make it easier, rather than focusing on pulling him around to do what you want, because he's right there with you. Make sense? So yes, 2 more candles. 1, just to kind of seal the deal with this one that you did earlier. It's fine, but let's repeat it with our head on our shoulders. And then roundabout Wednesday, we're going to try and open things for him to smooth things out so that staying in touch is physically easier for him. Man. Yep, and that's fine. You don't do near the communication work as you do love work. Right, I got you. Whenever. Whenever, except tomorrow, because you know I'm busy all day tomorrow. But yeah, whenever, you're welcome to swing by. Alright, let's see here. Okay, so I'm honestly like, the Joker, this set a tone for me with things we already touched on this morning, which is why we didn't hit on it tonight. Right. This was, look, he didn't necessarily have the greatest time either. Right, and you knew you didn't have the greatest time the other day. But he's trying to hide that. Right. He's trying to hide the fact that last night was kind of a bust for him as well. And he's giving you King of Diamonds. Does that make sense? He wants to give you this King of Diamonds. And I get why, which is part of why I wasn't going to brush up against it, which is the Joker. Right? If he did have some issues, what are you going to do? You're going to freak out about it. Right, and I don't want you to freak out about it because in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. Right, but this is all stuff we touched on this morning. So it was all that background. You know how I am. Sometimes, or often, the first 3 cards are background information that tell me I'm locked in. Right. And usually it's fairly impressive for new clients. Yeah, I think you will maintain, I think you'll be able to pretty much maintain that connection. I'm not, like we talked about, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I think this is all just fine. Alright, let me see here. Alright, and we're going to do Vanna's reading. Let's see. Do we still have? We do. Nikisha's been very patient with us. Yeah, really. Yeah, really, I tend to. So before I even read on this, Vanna, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, you have had several readings on the same guy, or the same person, leading into this meetup. This is obviously very important to you. Right. Well, and that's almost exactly what I'm getting at. Is you put it on such a pedestal, I feel like it's like it'll have to be perfect or it won't work for you. And there it is. There's the seven of diamonds. We saw it before. The seven of diamonds is a wish card, right? This is about the idealized form. This is about this idealized. This is about this idealized. There's a level of perfection inherent in this card. Um, right, but it's a perfection that can only exist in our heads. Um, mm, well, and here's where we come in. Is there going to be a mutual level of attraction? I'd be really surprised if everything here was exactly mutual. There's this ace or this eight of clubs. That indicates like we talked about earlier, it's almost coworkers. Right. It's not exactly a sexually charged card or a card of attraction. And right next to that, we've got an ace of clubs, which, as we know, is a penis card. Right now, is does the ace of clubs guarantee that this is going to be him attracted to you? No, but it hints in that direction. That it's funny, you're worried about him, and I think that when you end up in the same room with him, when you end up at this meeting, I think he ends up attracted and you end up like, I could take him or leave him. And that's the way I worry that it's not going to be mutual. Does that make sense? It's like, eh. It's like, eh. I might as well have just headed to the shop and bought batteries. But yeah, I worry that the attraction won't be there on your part, and it will be on his. Right. Now, when we look down at the second half of the cards, when we look down at the second half of the cards, I gotta tell you, hey Jackie, how are you? Um, this pattern here, this ace of clubs, nine of diamonds, isn't necessarily reassuring with this joker next to me. I feel like he's looking around. Um, for anybody that's read with me for a while, this ace of clubs, this ace of clubs, joker, nine of diamonds is giving me this energy right here. Right, anybody that's read with me a long time, and that jack of spades is a playboy. Right, this is a guy that can and will cheat. Now, you ain't with him enough for all of that, but I think, yeah, he's interested enough, but he's also interested enough in a handful of other women. Right. Overall, like, I wish you luck, but I don't know. I think you'll be like, eh. And I gotta ask if a guy like that is actually worth the effort. I mean, if he could put on a pair of tights and star in a Labyrinth remake, then like maybe. But even then, you gotta ask if he's worth the effort. Interesting. Yeah, you'll know tomorrow. All right, let me see what we got here. All right. Anybody in a particular hurry? Anybody mind too terribly if I go catch a smoke real quick? All right. I was just trying to make sure. I was just trying to make sure nobody was in any particular hurry. I'll be right back, guys. I gotta hug a kiddo anyway. Hiya, sorry about that, folks. Oh, okay, so Maine Biscuit is a long story. A buddy of mine, 20 years ago, backed over a poor raccoon in his car. And this raccoon had a little kit, and so he brought the little kit in, little baby raccoon in, and named it Biscuit. And he kept this raccoon in the house. And Biscuit was a whole character. So now the little raccoon you see in the corner of the screen, that's Biscuit. That's Biscuit. And Biscuit, so because the area, technically you wasn't supposed to keep a raccoon. Right, so he couldn't exactly take it to the vet or whatever, but he felt responsible. Right, so he'd feed it a pinch of tobacco once a week to keep out like heartworms and stuff. Right, so this raccoon would steal cigarettes. And I watched this dude steal my cigarettes, pack them because he had seen us packing cigarettes, steal a cigarette, nibble on it a little bit. He set the pack down. Then he comes back and he swipes the pack and he takes off running. Because he's like, nah, I'm just going to need these later. And of course, he stole my last pack of cigarettes. He stole my last pack of cigarettes, and now I'm chasing this raccoon around the house. I'm like, Tom, buddy, you better get your raccoon. But anyway, so that's a condensed story of Biscuit. Alright, so Nikisha, am I pronouncing that right, by the way? I believe you are up next. By now you've been hanging out a minute, so you kind of know how it works. I do prefer a question to generals, but as you've seen, I can tackle a general. So whatever you got for me. Although it's funny, you've seen pretty much all regulars tonight, so I was shortcutting a lot. You know how it is. You get settled in with the same people and you're like, oh, we don't need to go over this whole mess again. We talked about this last week. Okay. So since we are brushing up against it, traditional job, I'm assuming. If you're self-employed, that's important to know. And then you are, I'm assuming kind of with the way you asked the question, that you are currently partnered, correct? Those two questions just provide context for the energies I'm looking at, that's all. Okay, perfect. That's everything I need. Now, you say traditional 9-to-5 job, but I do notice a certain level of a very... so the first code that I have is responsibilities to the job. Right, so we're starting out talking about your job, and the feeling that I get is, okay, it's 9-to-5, but some days it's 9-to-4, and some days it's 9 to about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And if the actual time doesn't vary, like the workload certainly varies a particularly large amount compared to other jobs. Right, if this is factories, yep, and and so I feel like and so I feel like right now you come home and, like, as far as emotional load being a big part of this, like as a reader even, you know, not so much a day job anymore, but as a reader I can sympathize with this. I feel like you're you're coming out of. So Eight of Spades tells me you're not seeing a whole lot of extra people right now. And I think your boyfriend has been a godsend. Right, at the end of the day, you're coming home burnt out. You're coming home without time. Good night, Namir. We'll see you Tuesday, if I don't see you before then. You're coming home without time to engage with these other people. Right. You know, you do have a larger support network, but they require wearing pants. They require keeping a bra on. They require wearing makeup to go out and see. Right, I don't know which of those things specifically is important, but you know what I mean when I say any of that. Right, they require more effort to go and see, and you just don't have it. So right now, there is extra weight placed on your boyfriend because he's the only one you have energy to get any comfort from. He's the only one you have energy to. And let's be honest, if you didn't live with him, it wouldn't be that either. Right? You'd stay at home and stare blankly at a television screen. Like, I get you. And fortunately, I think that what this has led to, because this can go one of two ways. You can either burn him out, or it can be a bonding moment for the two of you. And as Ten of Hearts tells me, like, that relationship is going to the next level because of this. This is a good thing, relationship-wise. And I don't want to say he don't get stressed out, right? But you've got a good man here, right? And I think before we even draw our final card or our advice card, like, I want to say, what I'm seeing here is that this is bringing him closer to you, which I think is a thing you worry about, right? Oh my God, am I putting too much on him? No, honey, he's eating it up. He gets to be your hero. He gets to be your hero at the end of the day, and right now he's eating it up. Can you burn him out? Absolutely, you can burn him out. Are you burning him out right now? No. Right now, he is reveling in the fact that at the end of the day, he is your hero. Now, we get to the last card is always kind of advice for the future. Right. Seven of Clubs is planning. Right. 100% right now he is your hero. But you and I both know that he's going to burn out. And I think when it comes down to it, like, I think there's a particular situation settling in at work, and between patient privacy and the fact that I tend to talk around some things on stream, so I don't put everyone's business out there, like, I hope you'll get what I'm putting down. Right. But the end of your relationship with this client, and I think you're thinking of someone particular, right, this is going to be longer than anybody expects, and in a good way. Right, this will be longer than anybody expects in a good way, so you need to make a plan for when you start to wear on him. Right, because right now he's loving being your hero. He can't keep it up forever. Did that kind of connect with you? Because I feel like I got to talk around your patient's privacy here. Right. Good. Because I barely want to put your business on stream, much less your patient's. Right, but this is going to take longer. This is going to be a longer process than you were planning on. So you need to plan on, getting some people over, and you need to plan on getting that one friend over that will either force you to put on pants or not give a crap that you're going out in sweatpants. Right? You need to get her over here to drag you out because your boyfriend can't do it all forever. That'll do it. That'll do it. Ooh. Absolutely correct. No, and that's so Jackie, are you the friend? Are you the friend that she's gonna pull over? I love it when people come in together. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And it's not a question of he's fit. Like Jackie, he's got her back. He's got her back. He just needs a little backup. Ooh, man, y'all sound like you're setting up to have a great time. Shit, I might come over. I might come over. A little light culturally sanctioned gambling in a farmer's market. I'm down. Shit. I imagine y'all are a bit away from Indiana, though. But yeah, I'd have been down. Oh yeah, no. A little bit far. A little bit far. That ain't gonna happen. Man, what is it about me and folks in California? I know so many people on the West Coast. I don't know why. Sweet. All right, all right. So, I think that went pretty well. I'm I love that for a first reading for you. Like the first reading I have with somebody, the first reading I have with somebody sets kind of a tone, and I love this tone. Right. Um, and Jackie, we may go straight into yours. I know Starry's in there, but she's been having internet problems. Starry, do you happen to be around, or did the internet get you again? Okay, perfect, perfect. So you had a second question. So let's go ahead and look at your second question. This is the one that's going to catch me by surprise because the first one I expected. Awesome, thank you so much, Nikki. Oh, there's a link to the Discord too if you want to come hang out. I can be fairly quiet in there during the days. I get a little busy, but it's a great community. Pretty much everybody you met tonight's hanging out on there. You're more than welcome to swing by. Yep, there you are. So yeah, Starry, what are we looking at for you? Ooh, two papers? You're certainly a go-getter. Like I knew you were looking at right, and I knew you were looking at publishing, but I'm surprised you were looking at you're looking at publishing too. That's a hell of a workload. You know that, right? Even as just contributing author, two is a hell of a workload. Mm. I mean, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. No, she does. So here's the thing. This first card, this Ace of Diamonds, Kayla's planting a seed with you. And don't get me wrong, it'll cost you socially later. Right? But this is that building connections. Right? She sees something in you. Yeah, I'm good with that. She sees something in you. Right? That she wants to invest in, is the way that I would phrase that. I think you have a fairly good. I think you have a fairly good uh, likelihood of the one for the class being published. Um, so are they both? Are they both going through this class? Or is one through the class and one through work? Because anything remotely touching this class, um, Four of Diamonds. Okay. I don't see a problem with this, with the one that I'm, the one in Kayla's actual class. This is going to go just fine. Right. This is the one in Kayla's actual class. Hey, how's it going? Um, she's done this forever again. Forever and ever. And that'll be no problem. That'll publish on time. Hey, happy September. You know, the weather changed today. The heat wave I've been sitting under lifted, and I'm definitely feeling the fall. I'm 100% about this. Okay. I'm not worried about the other one either, but you know you're carrying more of the workload in the second class, right? The class that's not Kayla's. I feel like you're carrying more of the workload. Like, this may not publish if you don't do your part. Right. You're not primary author, but everybody in the class needs to be contributing, and they're just not. Correct? And so it's led to this feeling of having to be at the forefront. I have an interesting card for this last one. I have an interesting card for this last one. How important is it to you that the second paper get published? Because you know our last card is the advice card. And you've been reading with me long enough that when I turn this over, you'll understand why I'm asking, is it worth it? Right. Card we have is the Two of Spades, the dual card. You're going to have to whip some of these people into shape. Obviously not the professor, but if you want that one to publish, you got to get on your classmates about doing their part. Is it important enough to you to have your name on a second paper that you need to ride them about it? Because if you don't have enough, you won't publish. Kayla's lab will publish just fine. Kayla's lab will publish just fine, and I ask if it's worth it. Right, you know I tend to be pretty aggressive and tend to take a very don't give a fuck what they think kind of attitude. I would be all about you writing them if I thought it was worth it. It'd be nice. So I do like money. Right. If it's worth it, at the end of the day, if they're going to hurt your money, you ride them a little bit. Get with me in a Discord tomorrow. Don't let me forget. And I'll give you a way to turn up the heat on them a little bit, to make sure that the other class gets a little organized. Yeah, no, that's fine. So they're fucking with your money. I'm 100% down with giving you a little light spell work to turn the heat up on them tomorrow. Just don't let me forget. Ooh. Oh, he is looking for any excuse to take you out. The man is so cute. I'm just saying, this man is so cute. And you wondered whether he was interested. Like, seriously. Just to remind you, Starry, you know he's into you, right? Sorry, I couldn't resist. It was right there. I think you'll publish at least one, so he'll get a dinner with you, or you'll get a dinner with him. As far as the second one, yeah, I'll teach you to turn the heat up a little. I know, which is why I can tease you about it now. Right. Alright, so I got, I think, one more reading, and I am running short on time, so I'm going to go ahead and get to it. Alright, Jackie, now I get to meet you. Hey, how's it going? He wants to get your degree done. That is adorable. Like, he's looking out for you and everything. Oh, he is adorable. All right. So, Jackie, at this point, you've got to see a few readings. And, of course, you've got a friend to cheer you on here. Alright, so, as I was telling Nikki, so I read the playing cards rather than tarot cards, mostly because, like, you've done it. You've been to a reader and they'll throw the tarot out, and it makes it all about psychology. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I do have a tarot deck here in case we need it, but that's not what folks come to a reader for. Right. And maybe it's different. I know it's different for folks that only read tarot. But for me, these give me a little more direct results. So, what am I reading for you today? So I have a little bit of a suspicion here, and we're gonna see. Right. And I have a suspicion only because I see it all the time, and hell, I do it. Right, I've been, in the past, I've been known to do this. Okay. So, Nine of Hearts. So here's the thing. I don't think you have trouble, really, like, getting people interested in the first place. The beginning stages of a relationship are not a problem for you. You are not the kind of woman that goes 6 months without a partner unless you want to. Right. When you turn your attention to attracting somebody, you don't have problems. And the first 3 cards tend to be background. it makes sure I'm dialed in. All right. Well, you said I can put all your business out there. So we are going to put all your business out there. So that 10 of clubs, I think you know you're looking for a kinky guy. Right. You know you're looking for some level of power exchange. Right. uh-huh. And the problem is you're not always seeking in specifically kinky spaces. Right. So a lot of times you'll find a guy and he's not ready to commit because he's just playing around with leather and lace. Right. And you're a little farther down, what do they call it? The Rose Road than that. You're a little farther down the Rose Road than that. You don't need to break in a new dominant. You need a dominant that already knows his business. You don't need to teach him how to be dominant. And so here's the problem. Why are you looking outside? Okay, let's just scatter your business all over the place then. So are you involved in your local kink community? Are you integrated on FetLife? Do you hang out at your local dungeon? Like, what's your level with kind of organized kink? Like, okay. So here's your problem. You want an experienced guy, go to where the experienced guys hang out. Now, California is away from me. Right, California is a ways away from me, and all I know of the scene in California is a place in LA called Threshold. Right, and I only know of that from some podcast. Right, but you need to find the dungeons, go to the classes, hang out with people, and ignore everybody sitting in the audience, and make friends with the people that are running the classes. Make friends with the people that are organizing the play parties. Make friends with the people that are organizing the munches. Now, there are absolutely groups. There's groups fucking everywhere. And by that, I don't mean necessarily go on dates with the people running the classes, play with the people organizing the munches. This is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you make friends with these people, they'll introduce you to a real man. As the way you said it. They'll introduce you to people that have a level of experience that matches yours. Exactly. Like any other, just like any other subculture or community, kinky folks love to play matchmaker. Right? They know somebody for you. I promise they know somebody for you. So the idea is to get out there, make friends, and then they'll play matchmaker for you, and you ain't got to do it. Right? And they'll find somebody who matches your experience level. Not somebody who's going to be too much, and not somebody who's wet behind the ears. Hey, also, apologies, because you said you didn't care if I put your business out there, so I put your business all the way out there. Whatever. Good. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, that's what you need to do now. Having just read for Nikisha, even if you're not into this, You're all right with Nikki. Um, Even if you're not into this, you can certainly go with her to keep her safe, and she can buy the booze. You know what I mean? Because you really shouldn't go scout new places like that alone. And she needs, and frankly, she needs the hell out of the house every now and again. So this is a win-win-win. Yep, yep. Road trip. Ah, you guys will have a great time. You guys will have a great time, and I expect to hear you back. I expect to see you back in here with a report. Absolutely, new stories. These will be fun to read for too. All right, looks like I got one more to do, and I wasn't planning on it, but that's what I get for not closing the queue here. Although Beans, I got time. I can read for you. So Biscuit, if you look on the right of your screen, no, I got it. Oh yeah, no problem. It was a blast. Yep, I named Pando. I named him Biscuit. Biscuit's a whole story here. Oh hey, thank you so much. Oh, people, someone you know. No, that's certainly true. That's certainly true. You know everybody around here. Oh, nice. Oh, hey, I didn't know Uriel was popping in. Sweet. Well, thank you again, Nikisha. Um, and I'm sure Uriel thanks you too. I know he comes in and lurks sometimes. So, hmm. So Beans, I'm reading for you, right? I just want to stay focused and make sure I don't forget. Yeah, no worries. No worries. You know, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of those recently. All right, so let's talk context because it's been a minute. Are you currently single, partnered, trying to get somebody back? Probably the new year, but very vague. Okay. So by default, the cards look out about 6 months, and I never really trust anything. I never really trust anything past about 6 months. Now that said, I'm going to run you two parallel reads. I'm going to run you one for that person, and I'm going to run you another one for just in general. Because I feel like you have a special big person you're trying to get back, and you're not. All of your time isn't necessarily devoted to that. If something else were to come up, like the impression that I get. Yeah, the impression that I get is that it'd be great if this person would come back, but you've kind of considered it a loss. Right, so over here, okay. So So our first cards kind of establish some good ground rules, and this is right where I was at. So this person you're trying to get back, obviously you dated them before. The first card we have is the Two of Hearts. You know, it talks. The Two of Hearts is your relationship card. Right. Nine of Clubs, nines are new territory. Right. Nine of Clubs kind of tells me that this is going to be more work than trying to reignite this. Right. That's what I get for opening my mouth before I throw the cards. Right. Because I was right off and the cards were on. Mm. And okay, I think even just here we're gonna stop this second read about kind of somebody completely new, because there's somebody completely new, like this is more work. It steps up into like things in the next level. You're in conflict with people. Like this is so attracting somebody new at this point as opposed to running that out. Is this still kind of hanging in the balance? This person you're kind of sort of trying to get back, is this still like this is ongoing now? And there's the conflict here because this two mirrors this two. Right. It's like you'd hurt somebody at this point if you pursued somebody new. So we're going to set that aside. We can always pick it up later. But I want to focus in on this reading here. So, Two of Hearts, I feel like you guys were like, yeah, I'm into you. Yeah, I'm into you. And then nothing happened. Right. Seven of Hearts is emotions themselves. You had this moment where you talked about things. Three of Hearts as things started growing. And then somebody's plan got in the way. That's really what it comes down to, is whether they had already planned to move for school, or like, oh, hey, I've got to fix this other thing, and they I gotta fix this other thing, and they, disappeared from your group for a while, or whether they, like, started a new job and were too busy, or whether it was something on your end, but somebody's plan got in the way. It had nothing to do with each other. And the problem is, even now, yeah, I was just going to say, even now, this plan is, like, this is getting worse, not better, because Three of Spades is growing trouble. Here, I'll give you, let's do this. So, I'm going to be honest with you. By the end of the year, I do not think that you guys will have the practical aspects figured out. He's moving away again. This level of real practical considerations is going to continue to get in the way. Through the end of the year, certainly. Like I said, the cards go out about 6 months, and they get murkier at the tail end of that, right? So this reading might be good for 5 months. You might make it 7 with exactly this energy. Right. I wouldn't put my money on much past, like you said, the first of the year at this point. But I see this being about really stabilizing or setting himself up in a way that he can't just not do this. Right. He can't just not do this. He has to do that. Is this a work thing? Does he like work or school? Is he away getting his degree? Or this is a place that'll hire him. He's doing an internship. Like, this feels very prepare my future. And that's the easy go-to. Mm-hmm. He's moving for work. Right. This is about stabilizing. And at the other end of this, he will be financially stable enough that that part's no problem. Right. The problem here. Mm-hmm. And so let's be honest. The problem here is not you. Could you wait on it? Absolutely. The problem here, King of Spades, the problem here is him. It's not that he does not feel for you now. It's like that kind of emotional thing is ultimately based on energy, right? And you can get drips and drabs of his energy via, text-based or electronic communication and doing video chats and this and that and the other. And he has a lot harder time uptaking that, right? And what I feel like the problem isn't whether you'll hold on or not. I think that's no problem. The problem is if it's going to be April, right? And I have no reason to doubt the astrology here. Astrology is better for the long game than the cards, right? So I have no reason to doubt your astrological projection. So let's call it March, April. Energetically, can he hang on that long? King of Spades calls it into question. Right. What I would say is this. Certainly be hopeful. It sounds like the situation is as good as it can get. But I certainly don't see it changing by beginning of the year. And I have my doubts as to whether he will hold on. Yes, but there's more to it than that. Right. Like, what builds a relationship? There's a level of talking every day, sure. You may not need a lot of whatever. I think he might be the type that. Oh, thank you, Jackie. I think he may be the type that. Yeah, sex is important. But so is, like, being able to sit across the table from each other and eat dinner. Or sit and watch, I don't know, what's the stupid ass show that you'd be watching? Right. The fucking lousy Halo show on fucking Netflix or wherever it is. Or, old reruns of Red versus Blue, whatever it is. Stranger Things, that's it. Right. Okay. I'm down with that. Yeah, no problems, Jackie. We'll see you in a bit. Hopefully with some stories. Have a good night. Right. So, yeah, physical satisfaction, as you say, is important. But so is just being able to sit and watch those things with each other and it not be a giant headache of setting up a whole watch party. Right. Just TV in hand. What do you want to watch? Right. There's something to that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the more, so here's the advice from the cards, right? Because this bottom card always gives some advice. The advice is, look, that real-time interaction is something that he needs. And if you need to go a little more without sleep to get it. If you need to stay up a little late, or organize a schedule so that he can see you regularly, even if it is via something like video chat. That's the way you fight for this. Does that make sense? Because are you going to? Because is this going to last? This is not fated one way or the other. This is entirely in your control. And that is whether he gets that real-time connection. Does that make sense? Yep. So as long as you do your part, I think this is actually going to go all right. But all right, folks, it's officially 9 minutes after I turned into a pumpkin, so I got to get. I believe that's everybody in the queue, correct? Just want to make sure I didn't miss nobody. I did not. I just didn't clear things. There. Settled. Yeah, no worries. And that's the thing, is it very well can be fated, and you can still make it easier. Right? You can work with it or work against it. Right? So these are the ways you work with it. But yeah, I gotta get. Alright, I'll talk to everybody on Tuesday then. Y'all have a good night.